seat where you're sitting, if you're at home, if you're in the bed or the couch, just get comfortable for a few moments to just truly be into this place where we know that God lives and moves and has being in each one of us. There is only one presence. There is only one life. That life is God. That life is my life. We take that truth into every cell and every organ of our being as we begin to sit in the silence, contemplate, meditate, to see this gift that we have been given, to be sure that we know, that we are aware. Teachers of all religious faith, of all spiritual traditions, have taught us to emphasize, the emphasis is on us. The emphasis is on you. And what's meant by that? It means to have a mystical experience of God. Now what does that mean? It means to fully know that you can have a direct experience of the divine. Breathe that into your being. Take a deep breath. With your eyes closed, just feel that statement that you can have a direct experience of God. You don't have to wait on a new book to come out. You don't have to wait on a new teacher or a guru. You can have that experience right now. A mystical experience of God. Direct experience of the divine. Can you feel that now as you relax your body, still your mind, and know that you are a part of this thing called God? For each of us is a manifestation of this presence that we call God, what we choose to call God, or by whatever name you give it. You are a manifestation of that right now. To realize that God is ever present, ever available, is to know that all wisdom, intelligence, and power of the universe is right with you, right here, right where you are. Your word is power when you know this. This is why everything in your life depends upon your belief. It is done unto you as you believe. Change your belief and you change the world. Change your belief about who you are. So as we rest in this place of oneness, this place of peace, know that no matter what the outer holds, the chaos, the seeming chaos and confusion, that when we go within and rest in this place of knowing, there is only peace. I am that peace. So in that place, what's seeming confusion on the outer, as we go deeper, affirm these statements with me in your own mind as I say them. I am submerged in peace. I am surrounded by peace. I am immersed in peace. There is nothing but peace. Peace, deep, calm, undisturbed. And this peace comes from a sense of wholeness, a sense of union, a union with the whole. Know this truth for yourself as we rest in the silence for just a few moments. Peace, deep, calm, undisturbed. Peace in the silence. invite you to take another deep breath and feel that peace that you've been resting with for a few moments. And know that whenever confusion or stress or anxiety, whatever comes your way, stop and listen to this inner calm that is in you, that is you, and you can find that peace, that inner peace, that inner calm. Another deep breath, and then exhale fully. And as you do, you can begin to move your body and return to the room. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And just be. So this is the little book that we're using. Eric Butterworth, Unity, A Quest for Truth. And remember from what I said last week that this is the underlying premise of his book as he starts it out is, what is unity? And we've been asking that question here. We've asked it several times in some classes and other talks and sermons. Well, we're still asking it. Unity is still asking it. There's still, I think, humankind will still be asking these kind of questions, and so we'll look at that. So that's the underlying premise of the book. So in this vein, in this light, the author initially suggests that start listing a whole bunch of definitions of unity, all the definitions that we could do. But thank goodness he resists that, because knowledge in this case about what is unity is not just about memorizing the endless words on a specific topic, or especially the case when it comes to religion, being able to quote a certain phrase, or we don't want to do that. At least we don't. I don't think we do. Yes, there are creeds and dogmas in any faith, and if highs break out when I say this, we can call them, instead of dogmas and creed, we can call them statements of truth, or we can call them principles. We can call them what we want, but that's not what this is about. This emphasis on you is not about creeds, not about memorizing our choices. It's about knowing that what we're about is to inspire personal transformation so that we've got practical tools to live by every day. So Butterworth says unity is not a creed or acceptance of an abundance of definitions to memorize. He says unity is a technique through which you can find answers for yourself in words that are meaningful to you. It's a way it's a technique to find what's true for you. And then I do beg to differ a little bit with Butterworth, because after memorizing stuff to complete the path for LUT and minister, and Melissa will attest to that, at least there's a lot to memorize and to learn to pass the test. So there is some of that. But we don't have to do that. What we're learning about is how to live. This is what religion should be, is about how to live, not about how to memorize and quote the right thing. So the emphasis on you is an interesting chapter to me. My mind went all over the place with this as I was thinking about this. I initially thought that the emphasis on you would be to take care of yourself, which it is. In the part of the ministerial path, we learn to practice self-care. Something that I've needed to learn, part of this journey is to learn to take care of myself through, whatever that looks like, from meditation, exercise, eating properly, getting enough sleep, which I have not done my whole life almost, until the last few years and months to get enough sleep. But I also thought about, I've had some sciatic nerve problems the last few weeks, couple 3 months. So I've been to the chiropractor and the massage therapist to do what needs to be done. And this emphasis on you. So I said, okay, well, I can do that too. So I went and had a pedicure. Never have done that before. That's not a manly thing to do, is it? You better do it. The women know so much more about taking care. You better do it. It was awesome. So My wife even bought me a gift certificate a while back, and I didn't even use it. So I just up one night this last week. I just up and went right before closing time and got a pedicure. So it was an emphasis on me. It's not quite what Butterworth had an example in this book. I didn't see pedicure in there anywhere. But it's an interesting chapter because when we think about religion, we don't think about that. We don't think about it's an emphasis on us. What we're thinking about is who are we supposed to worship? How are we supposed to worship God in a certain way with the dogmas, the creeds? There's so many ways that we're taught in traditional religion and still taught to do that. So he moves, instead of all the dogmas and creeds and listening to all of them and all the memorization, he says that the discussion that we need to have is to talk about God, in our case, Jesus, because we do follow the teachings of Jesus, and the Bible. Not something that we talk about a whole lot in Unity. We don't have to, because we can find it in other ways. And not in a way that these are facets of the religion that we say we profess, but it's a way of living life and loving life so that we can have our self-discovery. In every case, these teachings are about you, about me, but it's about you. So, and we don't think about that because we haven't been taught to have a direct experience of God. We haven't been taught, I wasn't taught in traditional religion to have a direct experience with God. Most, if not all, religion has not been about us, in the sense of experiencing the divine, in the sense of experiencing God directly. It's been about the rituals and the creeds and the actions to gesture to some supernatural or unseen darkness, if you will, or even a person. So Butterworth says, though, that we are incurably religious, innately spiritual beings with an insatiable hunger for truth. We say that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. We have that innately in us. And if you look back at the history of mankind, you can see even when we started burning sticks on a stone as an altar, in primitive man, we've had this quest to know the truth about who we are. And I'm amazed at how this is the place where I started going in this. This concept of this is that I'm amazed at how we keep searching and seeking and spending so much of my life and our lives on dissecting concepts of God, spirituality. And our concept of God has changed, and is continuing to evolve right now. So I look at all the pieces, parts in the collection of my books and articles and notes and studies on the concept of God. And I keep looking at them, and we don't have to. I keep exploring that to better understand, because as I'm exploring the subject God, I'm exploring myself. I'm exploring what's in me. So many of you have heard this. I've said it before, but and it's in Eric Butterworth's the follow-up book to this was this book was Discover the Power Within You. This is his most famous book. This one was written in 1965. This Discover the Power Within You was written in 68, just a few years afterwards. But this is the book that he went on Oprah with and introduced unity. He was the first minister on TV, national TV. Oprah and Maya Angelou all bought into this, and he became their minister. So this is what's next. And so I'll tell you this story that you've heard to emphasize this concept about emphasis on you. And he has that in the foreword of the book. So if you've heard it again, it'll be a reminder. If you haven't heard it, you'll remember it now probably for a long time, but I keep telling the story because it's so good. And it's the story of the Hindu legend when all men were gods, all humankind were gods. But they abused the divinity so badly that Brahma, the chief god, decided to take away man's divinity, humankind's divinity, and hide it where they would never find it again. So where to hide it became the question. So Brahma called the lesser gods again. All humanity was were gods, which is an interesting legend to think about. So he said, ask the lesser gods, where are we going to hide this man's divinity so he can't find it? He was so mad at them because they had abused the divinity that had been given. So the lesser gods came back pretty quickly and said, bury man's divinity deep into the earth. Brahma thought for a minute. He said, no, for man will dig deep into the earth and they'll find it. The lesser god said, well, let's bury it at the deepest ocean. Brahma thought for a minute and said, no, that won't work either. Man will learn to dive to the deepest depths of water and we'll find it there. So the lesser god said, okay, take it to the highest mountain and hide it on the top of the highest peak of the mountains. Again, Brahma said, nope. He probably didn't say nope with a southern accent. He said, no, for man will eventually climb to the highest peak of every mountain, find it, and take it back for themselves. The lesser gods threw up their hands to Brahma and said, we don't know where to hide it, for it seems there's no place on earth or in the deepest sea where we can hide it. So Brahma said, he thought for a minute, he probably already knew the answer. He was just seeing what they knew. Brahma said, I know, we'll hide it deep into mankind himself, for he will never look for it there. Ever since then, the legend concludes, man has been going down in the earth, deep into the ocean, climbing, digging, diving, exploring, searching for something already within themselves. We already have it. But I had the thought, I probably need to send Brahma a modification to that lesson. Maybe we could hide it on the moon. Maybe we could hide the man's divinity on the moon. But guess what? We're going back, so we'd find it there too. So hiding it inside of ourselves is the secret that parallels this concept of the emphasis on you. It is you. It's all about you. So all of this is to stress, for the most part, that religion has missed out and is still being missing the point, I think, a lot of the traditional religion, because it doesn't teach about God or Jesus or Buddha or Brahma or Muhammad or the Pope. That's what it keeps teaching with creeds, rituals, instead of teaching how to have this direct experience of God. So this is the emphasis, this emphasis on you. And it's clear to me that this is what Jesus taught. This is what Jesus taught, and that's what Butterworth talks both in this book, and he really explores it and discovers the power within you. So as I was preparing for this, I ran across some old notes 30 years ago, notes I'd taken from Bible study at Unity Village. And the question was in these notes 30 years ago. Unity, it said, what is unity? The question. And here was the answer. Unity is a return to first century Christianity. What? I was shocked. Think about that. This is a teacher in a Bible study in Unity saying unity is a return to first century Christianity. Well, first of all, it didn't even exist. Christianity didn't exist in the first century. It wasn't until the creeds, not in the sense we think of it now, because the dogmas and the creeds and Christianity didn't come till after the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. So first century, it was, but what he meant by that, and it goes on to explain, it was about following the teachings of Jesus. It was about following the teachings. There was no dogmas, no creeds. It hadn't been set up in the model of the Jewish religion, of the following all the temple worship and all that. It hadn't been set up that way. So going back to the first century is being true to what Jesus was teaching. So, but when you first hear that, first century Christianity, that's not what, we don't want to go backwards with that. We don't want to go backwards, except we do want to follow the teachings of Jesus. So what, and the other thing that this was saying is that the reason this came into being, because we're not an offshoot of any other religion. We owe no allegiance to a higher a various hierarchy, if you will. Unity demonstrates that the Jesus teachings are practical, 7 days a week way of living, not having to go to a certain way to, to be forgiven or to be saved or whatever that may mean. Unity's not interested in building a movement. Unity wasn't ever interested in moving that. Jesus didn't organize the church of the earth. The true church of Jesus is the temple not made with hands, is the quote. So in the gospel records in the Bible, and again we're talking about the Bible today, that's what Butterworth was saying, God, Jesus, and the Bible. In the gospel records, Jesus used 4 techniques for the truths we attribute to him for studying, teaching his truth. Parables, miracles, precepts, and actions. By the way, what we call truths are not truths because they're in the Bible. They're in the Bible because they're truth. The Bible is not, this is another real good teaching from Unity that I wish could get to the other parts of Christianity. It could, because it continues to be a dividing line between traditional and fundamental Christian churches and the belief in the inerrancy of the Bible. Think about all other spiritual truths in our society and all other faith traditions. Some are, but they aren't as a whole, don't teach and preach the infallible, inerrant Word of God. There's a myth about a guy who wears a big belly, who has a big belly, wears a suit, gives gifts to children who have been nice, not naughty. No one takes this as literal myth, but it is a spiritual lesson. It is a myth in our society that we all know, and it's about giving, and most of all, it's about loving each other. It is a story, it's a myth that we all embrace, we know it, and we don't try to throw it out. But there's too many things that are in the Bible that, if taken literally, are inconsistent, inaccurate. It introduces inaccuracies. So the Bible, from a truth, spiritual point, is what we want to look at for learning the message of Jesus, because that's where they're recorded. I submit, again, that the parables, miracles, actions, and precepts. There's 31 parables. There's 12 miracles in the Bible. I'm not sure about actions and precepts. I didn't have a count on those real quick. A precept is something, a truth, a statement of truth, like what's in the Beatitudes in the Bible. But I submit that all these teachings are about you, about us, about you. They're not about Jesus. He's not teaching about himself. Everything he does is about you. The emphasis is on you. Butterworth says a key to understanding the teachings of Jesus is to discover that Jesus did not place emphasis on himself, but always on you, your unfoldment, your belief, and your achievement. He points out the traditional church has focused, and the emphasis of Jesus is focusing about Jesus, not of Jesus. So in today's language, we say Jesus has taught us has taught us how to have a direct mystical experience of God. The same God that he prayed to is the same God from whom we pray from a consciousness of being, of our being. Again, as a book, the Bible is important. As a book of literature, it is a jewel of literary power. It's a book of morals. It has influenced all the legal codes of modern time. But if we stop there, we miss the whole idea, for its literal acceptance is full of inconsistency and errors, as I said. The Bible is the birth, death, and resurrection of our human stories, each one of us. It's a story, again, not viewed from a literal perspective. So the reason I mention this, because we don't talk about this a lot in Unity, because we can't get to the messages of Jesus, the true messages of Jesus, if we don't look at that. So from the Hebrew legend to the loving and giving message of Christmas, the character of Christmas, to the writings of John Shelby Spong, Richard Rohr, Thomas Merton, Marcus Borg, Rob Bell, Bart Ehrman, Eckhart Tolle, Dalai Lama, Thich Nhat Hanh, and slew of others that I didn't mention that you probably like. From that place, we get the message. We get it. We're getting it. It's all about you. It's all about you. The emphasis is on you. Every day we embark on a spiritual journey, a quest for unity with a profound emphasis on the transformative power within each one of us, and not just with us, and then we see that in others too. As we explore the timeless teachings of Jesus, we discover a message that transcends time and place, a message that centers on the essence of humanity rather than while it focuses on us individually, then we can see the rest of humanity. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." So my goal is to always dive down into significance of this statement. The truth will make you free. Romans 12:2 is my favorite verse from the Bible. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So we have a chance to do that today in following the teachings of Jesus. I was going to read to you this one passage from the book about, he asked, what is God? And this is a bold statement. We can find this in other teachings too. What is God? He says, here we are faced with a definition which can only limit the limitless. So as soon as we answer this, we're limiting it. We could say God is mind, God is life, God is substance. But whatever we agree God is you. God is you. Can you take that in? That's the emphasis on you. That's what Jesus taught us. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Mankind, he came to teach about the divinity, not just of himself, but of us. This may seem shocking to you to think of yourself as God, but we do not say you're God. We do not say you're God. We said God is in you. Just like ice is water, but not all water is ice. That's the metaphor of that. You are God. You are God created in the image and likeness of God. You're an expression of God, a manifestation of this one God mind. You are God. So yesterday I attended a retreat, meditation retreat at Quanam Monastery, all-day retreat from 8:30 till about 4:30 last night. And Master Tran, we did several we meditated for a long time. And so, all throughout the day, several different sessions. And she did a talk, a Dharma session, and she read this poem that she wrote, and I wanted to close with you with what she read. I asked her if I could copy this or have a copy of this, and she said yes, and she said I could share it with you. The title of it is "You Are a Gift from Heaven and Earth." If you don't know about the monastery, it's on Star Avenue. It's a Buddhist monastery. It's absolutely beautiful. It was more beautiful before the hurricane, you can imagine. They lost every tree out there. And so they're still recovering from that. So that's why we're doing these retreats, so they can get money to help finish the repairs. But anyhow, you are a gift from heaven and earth. How long have you been here? My heart filled with love when I found you this morning. Your essence is joy for all you encounter, for people, for bees, for all sentient beings. Your essence is beyond words, basking in the beauty of your fragrant brilliance. So many people quietly gaze at you. They thank you for being in this world and bringing love and joy to life. You are uniquely created and incomparable to all things that exist. Be your true self with tenderness. Whether faced with scorching sun or driving rain or whipping winds, rise up and believe in yourself, because you are loved by many. The pureness of the essence of flower buds does not fade. Time may pass, 1,000 autumns may come and go, that you are loved forever is eternal. Carry your beauty in the newness of each moment, breaking nameless sorrow. You are precious among all precious sentient beings. You belong to no one but to all. You are a gift from heaven and earth. And so it is. So if we slow down and realize the emphasis is on us. Namaste.
Okay. Thank you, Reverend Ron.